Hello, this is Tiffany Fox, and y'all are about to hear something so bizarre. I went to close the window, and there was a wasp on it, and it stung me. Thank goodness, not on my drawing hand. So my finger is swelling up. I don't think I'm allergic to wasp stings, but y'all are about to find out on YouTube. So we are drawing. Oh, my finger. Okay, we're drawing this on this. In session 1, I laid everything out and I started to add the colors. I laid all of the darks out in cool colors. And then I was using the 24 set. Y'all, this finger hurts terrible. I was using the 24 set in the first session. Today, I'm using a 50 set only because, I discovered the 50 set has a lot bigger range of darks. So I switched to the 50 set, still Crayola though. So everything I'm using is definitely still Crayola. So we're going to turn the dot cam on. I'm going to work on it a little bit more. I have a hard stop at 3:30. So about 28 minutes of Crayola fun. And then it's time for the weekend. So y'all, seriously, this finger is killing me. All right, y'all don't need to hear about that. So let's draw some corn. All right, I'm going to switch my camera and I'm going to fix this dot cam. So hopefully you guys can see. And I already sharpened all my pencils. And let's go to our settings. And there is the first session is in my YouTube already. So that it's labeled session 1. Of course, this is session 2. We got to get rid of this touch up my appearance thing. We can't touch up the dot cam. That doesn't work. Okay, here is, let's see if we can get this nice and clear for you guys. If you're on my email list, you got a copy of this worksheet and this task card. If you are not on my email list, get on my email list because that's how you get the goodies for things like this. At mrstfoxresources.com on the homepage of my YouTube. It's right below my banner. And you can get it there. All right. I think that's pretty good right there. Y'all, let me show you my bee sting. Look, it's right there. Dang it. Okay, let's draw. So if you hear like a big thud and I hit the floor, y'all know it was the bee sting. And evidently, I think there's some kind of chat feature open. I don't know anything about chatting. I am barely able to YouTube live myself. So if you comment and I don't see it or I don't say anything, it is not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm trying to be tech savvy and my finger's swelling up. Okay. So what I did, just to recap, is I took my cool darks, my blues, my greens, my violets, and I laid out all of my darker values to begin with. So I kind of created a value map. And then once I created the value map, I started adding the local color, which is the color of each kernel. And if you notice, I'm using a lot of different blues and I'm using purples and I'm using, I used a little bit of pink through some areas here. So as I work, you're just going to notice that whatever I'm picking up is contributing to the end result of the hue. So it may not be immediately obvious that there's pink in an area or green in an area, but there might be green within. Like this is a really good example right here. This has purple and blue and green in this kernel because it gets really, really super dark. So I'm just going to draw. I had music on here the last time. I wonder if I can figure out how to do that again. Let's see. I don't want to screw this up, but I don't see my little music thing. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it. Nope, I don't see it. Okay. Let's draw. Let's draw and watch this finger swell up. Oh my gosh, guys. I could have just croaked when I went to close that window because they're running a blower in my neighborhood, and I felt the worst pain. So as I'm working the colored pencil, I'm using my little tiny strokes. I'm using really light layers. The more colors you have in any area, the richer that the overall effect of the color will be, especially with colored pencil. It's a very translucent medium. The colors will bounce, blend, work together. The fact that this is Crayola makes it very cost effective for your classroom or your own personal use. The 50 set has great colors. This is Orchid. Orchid is a nice dark purple. It's really going to help sink these values down. We don't use any black colored pencil. So we're just adding darker, cool colors together so that we can, I'm sorry, I'm making this smaller so it gets clearer. There we go. So if I need this area right in here to be as dark as this, I'm going to need to start combining my navy blue. This navy blue is a nice color too. With my purple, mix it with my green. As long as I'm not pressing hard, I'm giving myself lots of latitude to layer. This is a pencil that is made out of pigment and wax. So it is going to fill in the tooth of the paper. The harder you press, the more you're going to fill the tooth in. So if you press hard at the very beginning, you're not going to give yourself much room to add anything else on top. So this is the reason for the nice light layers. Super nice light layers. A little bit of pink right here because it's a glow from this kernel that's above it. This is some beautiful corn. We are only drawing until 3:30, so hop in here and join me. Remember, get on that email list at mrstfoxresources.com. So that you can get the goodies when I do something like this live drawing. I'm planning on doing more, and I will shoot out to my email list. Now I'm putting this pinkish, this is called, oh, pink. I thought it might have been like a deeper version, but I'm putting this in this mid-tone green to neutralize it. It looks much darker on here than it does in front of me. And usually when I have a color in my hand, if I'm using it over here, before I put it down, I'll just look a few more places that I could put it that makes sense before I put it down. So I won't go all over the piece, but I'll go into some areas that are almost finished and put it in. Let's go over here and add some of this. This is called Mango. What a cool name for a color. Okay, yellow, orange. And I'm just putting this, for lack of a better explanation, wherever I see it as a component in the composition. So not that a kernel of corn will be strictly mango colored, but that the mango will be part of the finished color. So it's a component. Remember, you want lots of different colors coming together to give you your finished effect. And this combination of colors working together really helps the overall effect to be rich and gorgeous. So we want rich, beautiful color. We don't want flat color, and we don't want like really dead color. You want color with dimension. And to get that in our warm areas, like in these warm, yellowy, orange kernels, we're going to want our reds and our yellows and our oranges all working together. You don't want to just pick mango and color the kernel, or it's going to look very flat. Plus, like we talked about in the first session, if we're going to do that, we might as well just use marker. The idea of the colored pencils is that they all work together to give us this gorgeous, rich color. So instead of music today, you guys can hear the blower outside in my neighborhood. And we'll all watch my finger swell up. That's just lovely. And I see the wasp. He was flying around my room, so I didn't actually get to kill him. Oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't make a comeback here in the middle of my tutorial. It's either that or it's his buddy flying around. This is a really cool color. This is magenta. I think magenta might be in the set of 24. There is no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. This is pretty much just me coloring in the areas that I feel like coloring in. I don't want you to think there's a method here or that you have to follow a method. You don't. Whatever you're feeling as far as which areas you want to work on, everybody has a different approach to the way they get things done. Now this area right over here needs to get darker. So I'm going to put a layer of purple and a layer of this navy blue, because I need these values in this part right here to be darker. And this is a surefire way, putting this navy blue on, for me to sink this value down. So this is like a universal law of colored pencil nature. If you want to get an area darker, you need to add a few layers of cool colors. The darker the value, the darker the cool colors. Sometimes you only need like a mid-tone blue if something is not super dark. And sometimes you need a dark blue. In this case, my end result needs to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to use the dark blue. There's a color in here called mahogany, and it works really well with these darks. It's like a really deep brick red, and it will really sink a dark area. This is green. Because the complement is red, but we've already got all these cool colors, we can put this. Oh, here's another good one. Is this mahogany? Yeah, this is mahogany. So when I put this on, see how nice and dark that gets? Just really works well. And then there's a color in the 50 set called Maroon, and it will also do the same thing. It's really just a matter of steady layering and blending. And if you're doing this with middle and high school kids, you definitely want to keep the project smaller because this is a little bit on the time-consuming side. You don't want burnout. You don't want project burnout, and you want them to stay engaged and be excited about what they're doing. And just grow that confidence. And if they feel like they have a task that they can accomplish from the very beginning, that goes a long way. A long way. If this is the first visit you've had to my YouTube, there is a colored pencil webinar on my main page in my main videos, and it is all about how you scaffold a colored pencil curriculum for the best results, the best success and confidence building results for all students, not just the ones that come into your room already either talented or enjoying drawing. But this is for you to help kids discover that they can draw, because everybody can draw, and discover a love of drawing that's going to transcend well past the experience in your classroom. Something they can take away. Maybe they just got stuck. Isn't it cool that there's a couple of these reflections that look like hearts. And I'm just working the negative space around up to, I'm leaving this white, leaving the paper, letting the paper do the work. I'm going to go right over top of that navy blue that I just put down a little earlier. And now I get a nice, pretty dark red. So I'm not pressing any harder. Just adding a layer on top. So all those colors underneath are like the foundational layers, and they help the local color either get darker or get richer. There's like a little tiny bit of yellow right in here. You can just barely see it, but it's going to really rich up this area. And you want your drawing to be a richer, more improved version of whatever your reference is. You don't want it to look exactly like it. You want it to be new and improved. New and improved version of whatever you're looking at. And if you are not on my Instagram, please follow my Instagram at Mrs. T. Fox Resources, because anytime I am going to do, you have two places where you can find out what's going on at Mrs. T. Fox Resources. You can find out on my Instagram feed or my story, and you can find out through my email list, which I already mentioned you can go to my website, mrstfoxresources.com, and you can subscribe to my email list. I promise I will not spam you. If I'm sending you something, it's to notify you of a sale, a new resource, a YouTube Live, a webinar, a freebie, like with this worksheet. And I will not spam you, I promise, because I cannot stand email spam. Drives me insane. These oranges, in these few kernels right here are so beautiful. They're like a nice combo of orange and yellow, a little bit of red. I'm going to draw here for about 8 more minutes, and then we will put this on the page. And then I'm thinking I'll work on it off camera and then maybe come back and finish it in a couple days on camera. This is a really cool color I wanted to show you guys. This is called bronze yellow. It is such a neat color. It's almost like Prismacolor's, I think it's their lime green. It is really pretty, and mixed with a little bit of this violet that I already have under here for the little bit darker value. It's really doing the trick to give us that nice neutralized limey color. So pretty. Use it a little bit over here too. You should probably have at least 3 to 4 colors in every area. All of that color bouncing around together is what's going to make your work, your students' work, so much richer and so beautiful. Confidence is key with this medium. Let's put some of this, what did I say it was? Bronze yellow. Here in this guy too. These almost look like jelly bellies, but it's corn. So pretty. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this. I'm going to start with this light blue. And I'm just going to put there's like a little flecks in this kernel right here. I'm just going to kind of drop them in. Just meander back and forth a little bit. I'm not really pressing hard. Just laying them down to give that texture. We'll do it a little bit up here too. It's on either side. And then when I go back over top with the green, and see, while I have this blue, I'm going to drop it in. Let's drop it in a few more places. Okay, the good news is I don't think I'm going into like anaphylactic shock from my bee sting, so that's good. If you're joining us late, at like 2:59, I went to shut my window and there was a wasp on the windowsill and it bit my ring finger right there. And holy moly, did that hurt. Okay, let's put a little more. The value is a little darker here. But I'm still not pressing hard. I got at least 3 more layers I could put on top of here to make this darker. Let's put some in here while we're at it. My problem is I never stay in one area very long. I'm all over the place because I just said, ooh, I could put this color here. Ooh, I could put this color here. It gets addicting. This is a pretty color. What is this? Oh, that's the pink again. But why does that look so different? probably because it's been sitting there for a while. I think they get kind of cloudy sometimes. Well, let's put some of this down here. And I will be back on here to finish this. It may not be till after the weekend, but keep an eye on my story on Instagram. Keep an eye on your email, and I'll let you know. Or I guess you could even look on here. I will schedule it, and I think you can even hit a little button that they can notify you when it goes live. I don't know. I'm still figuring all this out, guys. Let's put a little bit of orange in here. I know it's a pink kernel, but there's like a little glow of orange right here. See how that lights that up if we put that in there? So get on my email list at mrstfoxresources.com. Follow me on Instagram at Mrs. T. Fox Resources. Are you guys noticing a trend here? Follow my Pinterest at Mrs. T. Fox Resources. Check out my online PD at Mrs. T. Fox Resources on Thinkific, but you can find it all from my website. If you go to my website and you go to the bottom of every page of my website, you will see all of the different social media platforms that I'm on. But if you follow me, you'll be in the know. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. It is Friday. If you're feet up right now on Friday, I hope your week has been wonderful. I hope you join me again. I appreciate you tuning in, as always. I appreciate you. If you are a member of Skill Builders Academy, 1 week from tomorrow, we have our colored pencil skin tone session. So I'm very excited about that. And if you would like information on being part of our community, you can just go on my website. It is my monthly membership, resources out the wazoo, and a great community of educators. Doesn't matter if you're new teacher, veteran teacher. We've got some awesome people in that group. So you guys have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. And I will see all of you next week when we finish this. All right. Have a good one.